Well, a fella found this old tractor rotting away on the shady side of an old farmer's barn. He figured might try and knock the rust off and see if it'll move some dirt again. So this old tractor's of the Ferguson flavor. It's a TO-30, which means tractor overseas. So this one was built here in America. And now the previous owner told me that it runs, but quote, that it's been a long time. So right off the bat, I can already tell you this is going to be an awesome tractor because the exhaust pipe comes out of the headers and is bolted to a piece of fence post that's about 12 inches long. It just dumps right out of the tractor. So I figured it's way too freaking cold out here. So let's try and grab it with the skid steer and push her into the shop where it's a little bit warmer. And we'll take a closer look at it in there. Well, we got her in the shop now where it's at least like 3 degrees warmer, so at least I can feel my fingertips. If you couldn't tell, I don't quite have the best insulation yet in my shop, so working on that though. So let's take a look at this thing. Looking at the VIN number. See, so it's 107,808, which makes it a 1952. You know, because I looked it up right before this. Anyways, you know, before I pushed it in here, I thought that these tires might actually be holding wind, but it turns out that it's just these two tires that are holding wind. The ones on the other side are flat, as well as the front tire on my skid steer, apparently. So let's get this hood off here. Take a look into the engine. So all the tin on this thing is actually surprisingly straight. Well, it was straight. That's that old badge I was talking about. Freaking sweet, back when they were built out of metal and actually lasted. All right. Just at first glance, it looks pretty complete. See if there's any anything left in this fuel tank. There is stuff in there. Ooh. Paint thinner. That's old. There's coolant. And it's actually still green. Interesting. That's interesting. The water temperature sensor is actually still in there. That is normally the first thing to get chucked out of here, and it actually looks like it's fairly new, except for the dial's kind of broke. But that's all right. You can definitely tell this lift cylinder, at least, is leaking really bad. This one might have a small one at the bottom, and this one's probably leaking a little bit as well. But man, all the hydraulic hoses on it are like brand new. None of them are cracked or anything. And the tires on this thing, and I'll walk you around so you can see all the tires, but they still have awesome tread on them. They're not weather checked. I don't have any rust on any of the wheels or anything. And that's why I was super excited when I went and picked up this tractor, because most of the time you go get them and the inside of these freaking wheels, because people put calcium in the rear end of these things to give it a little extra weight, are just garbage. But this one, I don't know if they have calcium or not, but at least the wheels are not freaking rusted out yet. I'm looking for some sort of marking or something on this loader to tell me what kind of loader this is. I don't know off the top of my head, but if anybody knows, put it down in the comments if you know what type of loader this is. I'm super interested. I've seen them a couple times with this big freaking tubing. They're super tough. I do have a little tag right here on the just on the controls, but they've probably been swapped out a couple times. It says Wagner Ironwork. I'm not sure if that's who built the loader or just the valves for it. I'm not sure, but if you know, I'd be interested. Let's take a look down here at some of this stuff. So the spark plugs look fairly new. They're still shiny at least. The spark plug wires are 12 times longer than they need to be. Okay. Probably not meant for this, but that's all right. Still got the 6-volt coil on there, so it's still 6-volt tractor. There's a lot of spider webs on here, so I would be surprised if those points aren't crapped up with spider webs. The starter looks like complete garbage, which is fine. This actually looks pretty good. The sediment bowl actually looks fairly new, although now that I messed with it, it's leaking fuel or paint thinner, whatever that is. That's fine. What is this wire? Uh-oh. The wire to the coil is disconnected for some reason. It probably goes up here. I'm gonna have to, oh yeah, it's gonna go right there to that switch. So this is aftermarket, that switch. Somebody added that in there so they quit burning their points up. So we'll have to mess with some wiring, it looks like. Decent battery cables on it, although I normally like to run a little bit thicker cables when I'm still running 6-volt, but I don't think I have a 6-volt battery on me anyway, so we're probably just gonna throw a 12-volt in it and not run it very long. I don't know. Missing the tachometer, so no idea how many hours are on it. Still shifts into gear, that's nice. Steering works. Throttle moves up and down. Shoot. Clutch feels like it's there. Look at the other side. See, look at these things. They look freaking brand new. All right, so no intake or anything on it. That's all right. But carburetor's there. The 6-volt generator's there, being held on with a hose clamp. Belt's seen better days, but not bad at all. This is that exhaust that I was super excited about. So let's see. Headers. Bolt running through the exhaust, holding on what looks to be a fence post that dumps right out underneath the tractor. Solid. Man, that thing's just leaking like a sieve now. Well, I think let's just grab a hold of that fan or put a bar on it or something. See if we can't get this engine to just spin a little bit. See if we can tell if it's even free. Well, that's not gonna work. Dang it. All right, we're gonna have to try something else. Well, this looks just about impossible to get something in there to be able to try and turn that crank over. Well, next best thing, let's just throw a battery in it, bump the starter, and see if it'll spin this thing over. I'm not going to turn it over a whole bunch. I just want to see if it'll move. If it moves, we'll throw some oil down into the cylinders, and because I don't know how long this thing's been sitting, so I'm just going to assume it's dry, and then we'll go from there. This tractor takes a very specific battery. I don't have it, but I do have a Walmart special that will probably do the same thing. Fuck, it doesn't even fit. Oh, I got it in there. I'm still going to hook it up correctly, though, because this still should be positive ground. So we're going to do positive side to the ground and hook up the negative to the starter. Oh, cool. I don't even have a bolt in that thing, so I can't even tighten it down onto the... That'll work. All right, we got that battery hooked up. I think it's hooked up good enough. We'll find out. So let's just bump it over. I'm not going to spin it very long again. And the starter is actually super interesting on these things. So it's on the gear shifter. So you use this, your actual gear shifter is what engages your starter. You have like 1, 2, 3, reverse, and then up in the top right, there's an S, and that's your start. So instead of having like a button or a key, you just push the gear shifter over to like you're putting it in reverse, and you push that forward like you're putting it in gear, and it engages the starter, which is pretty neat because it's like a neutral safety switch. So you can't start the tractor if you have it in gear because the gear shifter is what engages the starter. They made it farmer proof. So anyways, let's bump that over, see what happens. Not a whole lot. That is start, right? Yes, that is start. Nothing. Well, let's grab my voltmeter, hook it up, see if I'm even getting voltage to the starter. I think this is going to be long enough. We're going to go right to the battery so that there's no way that we have any ground issue. And the screen is kind of broken on my multimeter, so I got to press on it to be able to read it. Quality. Anyways, let's see if I have voltage. 12.44 volts. Well, crap. So I'm getting power through everything to my starter, which I guess is good. At least I know the starting solenoid and stuff is working, because that's pretty common to fail on these things. But my starter, as I assumed, because it looks like crap, is not starting. So I guess let's pull that guy off there. While we have it off, we'll stick a bar in there, see if we can't bar it over with the flywheel, and see if this engine's even worth saving. Take a look at what's going on here inside of this starter. So it is just covered in spider webs. So I'm sure that thing's just been open to the elements forever. And yeah, so let's go ahead and pull that starter out. All right, so we got the starter out now. There's the flywheel back there. Got my pry bar. We'll stick it in there and see if we're able to turn this guy. But it's turning. So that's good. That's a good sign. All right, let's grab a new starter. Put a new starter in there. So I do actually already have a starter for a Ferguson, which was actually kindly given to me by the sponsor of this video. Ooh, look at that guy. And that sponsor is DB Electrical. So DB Electrical has been in business for over 40 years. It's an American-owned company, and it started in a small shop just down in Tennessee. From starters to alternators to solenoids, they make electrical components for thousands of different applications, from automotive to agriculture to lawn and garden and small engine. And even a starter for this 70-year-old tractor sitting here behind me. So DB Electrical guarantees that all their parts meet or exceed OEM specifications, and they back that with a no questions asked 1-year warranty on all of their parts. So next time you're looking for parts for your ride or 70-year-old tractor, go ahead and make DB Electrical your first stop. Links in the description down below, or look for DB Electric in the manufacturer description. And thank you to DB Electric for sponsoring this video. All right, let's get this bad boy in here. So if you guys have ever replaced one of these starters before, you'll understand me when I say that it's freaking tight fit. I don't understand it. Okay, I got it. What pain in the butt. Don't fall out, please. Now what I plan on doing is pulling out each one of these spark plugs and taking a look at it, evaluating it, and squirting a little bit of oil down in each one of those cylinders, because I don't know how long this thing's been sitting for. Dang, that thing looks freaking clean. Take a look at that plug. These look fairly new. I don't think I'm gonna have any problem with the plugs. All right, so we'll give that cylinder a little bit of oil. Now, I've just got a little bit of Marvel Mystery Oil in here. I'm just giving it a couple squirts. I don't want to foul any plugs or anything crazy like that. I just want to give it a little bit of lubricity, because I'm sure that these things are bone dry if it's been sitting for a while. The reason I use Marvel Mystery Oil is, well, because of what's in it. It's a mystery. That was a little bit darker, but not bad at all. That one looks pretty good too. All right, last one. That one looks pretty good too. So no signs of any condensation or anything crazy like that in the engine, which is nice. All right, let's give her a spin up, see if she spins. Oh, better hook up the battery, that helps. Let's see. Yeah. She spins over pretty good. She is on 12 volts, but nice. All right. Well, normally the next thing I would do is check and see if there's any spark, but I can already tell you that we don't. So let's fix this. This should be the power that goes to the coil. What I think I'm going to do, just for the time being, because I want to see it run, so I'm just going to run a jumper wire straight to the battery just to get the coil power, and then we'll add a little bit of fuel to it, see if she wants to fire off. All right, so the only potential problem we might have, hear me out, is we won't have a resistor between the battery and the coil. So even on a 6-volt system, these should still have a resistor on there, and it looks like this. Unfortunately, the last resistor that I had, apparently I've already used it on a tractor, so we're not going to have a resistor between the battery and the coil. So we're not going to run it very long, and if it does end up running, then we'll just go rob a resistor off one of the other 7 tractors I have parked in front of the shop. But don't scold me in the comments for it, because I'm aware. Gotta get this alligator clip into there. There we go. All right, so we got an alligator clip on there, and we're just going to hook it directly to the positive. Perfect. And conveniently, there's already not an intake on this side, so we're going to spray a little spicy fuel in on the carburetor. Perfect. See if she wants to bark off. Just like that. Man, she's gonna freaking run. Well, all right. Take that alligator clip off there so we don't burn anything up. So now that we know that it has life, let's go ahead and replace this sediment bowl, because it was leaking like a sieve, and I don't want to put fuel in this until I know that sediment bowl's not leaking, because, well, fuel's expensive right now. And then we'll check that carb on the other side, see if it's getting fuel, and God, it should freaking run at that point. And maybe open up a door. Well, shoot, I think I actually found out why this was leaking. We may not have to replace this. So I just came down here to take off these fuel lines and tried to make sure that it was shut off, and check this out. That nut is just hand tight on there, which that looks like is where the fuel is coming out of. So let's tighten that back down and maybe put a little bit of fuel in it, see if it starts to leak again. Let's see. I think it's worth a shot. Taking the liberty of cleaning this fuel bowl, check out how nasty that guy is. All that gray stuff on there is sediment. All the way around this side. That's gross. Let's clean that off. Oh yeah, even in the bottom of this thing, it looks like freaking concrete. That's weird. All right, after a quick trip to the gas station, got me some fuel. Okay. I should have done this from the other side. I have it all the way open right now, so it doesn't look like it's gonna leak. Although my freaking gas can's leaking like a sieve. I can't even tell if there's fuel in there. Freaking bowl is so cloudy. All right, all that good. Only spilled a little bit. I don't know. Well, I can go crack it over at the carburetor. See if I'm getting fuel to the carb. I think I'll just do that. I'm just gonna leave this guy all the way open. It's not leaking right now, so that's good. Let's go open it up at the carb. Oh yeah, we're getting fuel out of it. All right, so we've got spark. We've got fuel to the carburetor at least. My fire extinguisher's only, let's see, where is it? There it is. All right, so let's just give her a shot. And I don't want to run it for a long time because of this issue. But if we get it running, I plan on seeing if the bucket operates. That reminds me, I should unchain it. If it has gears, clutch, and if the 3-point works. So hopefully, if it starts running, I can get all of that done in a matter of a minute or so. And this is without starting fluid too. So we'll see what happens. Oh, shoot. Helps if you hook up the battery. Whoa. There we go. Running on choke good. Dies as soon as I let choke off though. Bucket's trying to do something. There we go. So hydraulics work, although probably need a little bit of work. It's got a clutch, that's good. I didn't get to the 3-point. Let's see if this thing's even engaged. I'm not sure this is even engaged right now. Try it again. See if I can't get the 3-point working. Sounds like we got a fueling issue. Three-point's coming up. There we go. 3-point work. Guy is not happy though. I would like to see. So I saw it go forward a little bit. So let's try reverse next. It's going to be kind of difficult to try and get it all at the same time. Whoa, that sounds good. We got reverse. We got first. Oh man. We got ourselves a tractor. Now we just got to get it to run for more than that long. Nice. And I tell you what, that exhaust, mint. So I think the next course of action is I should probably just reset the settings on that carb because it only stays running while it's on choke. So it's not getting enough fuel. I'll try resetting the settings on it, set it back to factory settings. If that doesn't work, probably got some jets that are gunged up, considering the sediment bowl looked like a concrete manufacturer. So let's reset that real quick. All right, well, I've reset that carburetor a couple times and it's not getting any better. So I think the problem is just gonna be, hopefully those jets in there are just gummed up. We'll take that carburetor apart, take a look at her. and I've got some parts to rebuild it if I need to, and we'll clean it out, see if that fixes it. Would you look at that? We didn't even need the fire extinguisher. Nice. So this is actually an original. So looking at the carb here, sometimes they say it down here on the body, but this one says it up here on the neck. It's kind of hard to see on the camera now, but right there it says Marvel, and then it says Schnabler. So this is an original, or at least an OEM back in the day one. These are the ones you want. These are built a lot better than the old Chinese ones overseas. I'm sure if you ran these numbers and stuff, you could probably get what year it was built. I would guess 52. I'm not sure. If anybody knows what the coating and stuff is on these, let me know, because I'm curious. But we'll tear it apart, take a look at it. Look at that. There's obviously a whole bunch of water and stuff inside of there. But the floats and the needle and everything look good. So I think I'm just going to spray out all the passageways, clean this guy up a little bit, slap it back together. So I want to make sure that I don't just have a whole bunch of water in this fuel tank. So I'm going to leak a little bit of this fuel out into this cup. And we'll see. We'll see if we've got water in our fuel or not. There might have been some at the bottom of that tank that was just sitting in there. It should be good. Trying to reach through here and shut our fuel off now. Also, I just figured out why the front bucket wasn't tilting very well. That could have something to do with it. Looks like that hydraulic cylinder is just bit the dust. That looks like the seal right there. It freaking blew off. So looks like we're going to need a new cylinder for that. It's all right. I know this isn't the ideal cup to do this with, but you can clearly see that we still have water in our fuel. Well, I guess we got to drain some more of that tank. So we got the carburetor back installed. I flushed another like half a gallon through the fuel tank. Doesn't look like we're getting any more water anymore. I cleaned back out the sediment bowl, make sure there wasn't any water in there. I think we're good. Go ahead and see if it'll crank up and idle now without choke. All right, let's do it. Ignition on. I'm gonna try it without choke this time, just see what happens. Helps if I actually turn the fuel on. Minor details. Now let's give her a shot. Of course, it's probably gonna take a minute to prime that fuel bowl over there. At least it runs a lot nicer now. It just doesn't want to run without choke is all. Let's mess with that carburetor a little bit. Oh, I almost had it. That sounds better. Almost. So I just had to run it way rich. I just had to turn that freaking valve way out, like 4 or 5 turns. And now she's running on her own without having to hold the choke out. I think once I get all the intake and an air box and stuff on there, that I'll have to reset it back to factory setting. So if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and hit that like button below. Subscribe if you want to, super helps out the channel. Big thanks to DB Electric for sponsoring this video. With just a little bit more love, I think this is gonna be a great tractor. So I'm gonna go park it before something breaks on it. All right, later. Almost forgot the hood.